All right, man, peace. So it seems like every regular season, the Cleveland Cavaliers, led by LeBron James, get their doors blown off by the Golden State Warriors. And every time that happens, there's talks of dissension within their ranks, of LeBron James trying to hold the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Dan Gilbert's, feet over the fire for some type of magical, mystical trade that's going to allow him to defeat Golden State in the finals. And of course, this year with the addition of Isaiah Thomas, you have the factor of a player who came from a former rival within their conference, who is now having to become acclimated to the culture of the Cleveland Cavaliers. One of those cultural traits being that Cleveland does not practice. This is as per Isaiah Thomas. This has led to a lot of leaks coming from allegedly within their team. And of course, the media now is trying to come up with theories as to why the ship is sinking in Cleveland. And there were a couple of very interesting, quote unquote, conspiracy theories that were put forth by some members of this panel. And of course, they're going to talk about them, and I'm going to chime in.
LeBron and Broussard are the only unconcerned people in the world of basketball. Why are you unconcerned?
This is January. LeBron considers the regular season mostly tedious because he's now judged solely on the playoffs. I watched that game.
Well, he didn't give a great effort last night. Last night, he wanted that desperately.
Well, he did for about 36 minutes, and then the basket got small. But I came away from that game, and my takeaway was they're getting there. They've shown you they can turn it on and off the last 4 or 5 years.
Why wouldn't your takeaway be, wow, they got no shot against Golden State?
Well, nobody...
Well, the reason why that's not his takeaway is because he's a LeBron James super fan. And I made mention of this after last year's finals in regards to the other FS1 sports analyst, Nick Wright. You have to understand, you have two types of people. You have people who create their theories and perceptions based on the empirical data and the facts. And then you have people who only accept facts that are going to go along with their personal theories. In the case of LeBron James, whenever he plays poorly, it's because his teammates are not good enough, his owner is not helpful enough, the coach is not insightful enough, there were too many wet spots on the floor, the security would not let LeBron wear his favorite sneakers through the metal detector. It's always something. So that's part of the interest of listening to some of these quote-unquote conspiracy theories. And then also understand that these are members of mainstream media. They have sources. So they will take actual information and try to plug that into their theory. And that's why it's worth listening to what they have to say.
He has a shot against Golden State. Nobody's beating Golden State unless they get Paul George in Cleveland. I don't think anybody...
So that's concern. All right, welcome back to the show. We're joined now by Colin's co-host on The Herd, Christine Leahy.
He raped me in the house.
And the founder of the Big League, Jason McIntyre. Let's move to Cleveland, where there's a lot of news about the Cavs this week. The latest being Isaiah Thomas saying he can't get in shape because the Cavs, quote, don't practice. Cleveland has been struggling in recent weeks, prompting several players to anonymously vent their frustrations in the...
Isn't that interesting? Isaiah Thomas revealed that the Cleveland Cavaliers don't practice. But, if you go around YouTube and if you were to view some of the videos that the Cleveland Cavaliers post on YouTube, it always shows LeBron and the rest of his teammates doing some type of physical training or exercise. They're always on that mountain climbing machine, or they're on the treadmill, or, they're using the exercise ball. LeBron is always walking around with a do-rag on and no shirt on, doing a bunch of squats and bench press. If you didn't know any better, you'd think that they were the best conditioned team in the NBA. But now Isaiah Thomas reveals that they don't even practice. So that shows you why they have so much trouble down the stretch of games against top-level teams. Now, as we know, LeBron James leads the league in quote-unquote clutch time statistics. But that's also based on the fact that he handles the ball the most during clutch time, probably other than Westbrook and Kyrie. And also due to the fact that, for the most part, LeBron tends to come through in the clutch in the regular season against poor teams, against bad teams.
In the media expressing doubt the team is going to figure it out. Cowherd, the Cleveland Cavaliers have some problems. Do you think LeBron can fix it?
He's the MacGyver of the NBA. He can fix everything except their deficiencies to Golden State, because Golden State's way better.
He also can't fix their defense. But one would think that in order for him to fix their defense, he has to fix his own because he's the source of their defensive woes. If I remember correctly, he's ranked something like 326th in the NBA in regards to defense. LeBron James.
Yeah, I mean, I think LeBron is doing what LeBron does in January. He leaks stuff, he manipulates, he's trying to get Dan Gilbert to trade that number 1 pick or top 10 pick. These leaks, I believe, are partially LeBron. He is...
That's interesting. That's interesting. I have not thought about that. That all these leaks that are going into the sports media are based on LeBron trying to force the hand of Dan Gilbert. And it would be consistent with LeBron's mentality and his affiliations. Remember, he's affiliated with many of these major corporations that utilize the Hegelian dialectic, meaning pressure from above, pressure from below, trying to incite change through manipulation. As we remember, and I did a video on this, LeBron James was involved in what I view to be a psyop, where he alleges that someone spray painted the word nigger on his front gate in Los Angeles. That was all the way last summer, right before the finals. He had a big press conference trying to present this image of himself as an athlete that was going to lead racial dialogue and so on and so forth. It is what it is. Almost, I would say probably about 6-7 months later, still no perpetrator found. He
is a manipulator. I'm a LeBron guy. He's a manipulator. All of a sudden, there's multiple leaks to multiple outlets. Why, it's all Kevin Love? I mean, who has the most to lose? LeBron. The two people in this organization that have the most to lose are the owner. He's not leaking this stuff. And LeBron.
Well, what he's putting forth, what he's postulating right now is something that's worth thinking about. Is it possible that LeBron James is the one who, or his team, are the ones who are involved with the leak, stating that Cleveland is not going to have enough to avert disaster in the postseason this year? Possibly. But I don't believe that he or his team are involved in some of the earlier leaks that were stating that there were players on the team with agendas. Why? Because that came directly from Tyronn Lue. So there's clearly something there. There's clearly something there that is substantive in regards to a corrosion or a corroding within the Cleveland Cavaliers locker room. There's no doubt about that. And LeBron may be at the center of that as well.
He is leaking this stuff. So my takeaway is he's trying to engineer a trade. I don't know if it'll happen. But, this is what LeBron does. January, 3 weeks out of the trading deadline, leak stuff, manipulate, get us Paul George. Because LeBron's not dumb. They're not beating
They're tanking for Paul George.
Tanking is way too hard. They are competitively creating deficiencies so that Dan Gilbert's forced to trade that pick.
That's a LeBron James super fan for you. He cannot explain within his conscious mind why LeBron is so poor on defense or why the Cleveland Cavaliers have not played, quote unquote, up to par on the level of the Warriors. So now he's going to claim that they're playing poorly on purpose so that he can assign or attribute a lot of Machiavellian attributes to LeBron James, which I'm not denying that LeBron James does have those attributes to a degree. But do I believe that they're purposefully playing poorly to force a trade? No, because they've been playing poorly for the vast majority of the season. They had a little 19-game stretch where they were 18-1, where they ran up their record against bad teams. But nah.
Tanking's way too severe.
It's a crazy theory that I actually kind of buy into. I think LeBron is that manipulative and that shallow's not the word I want to use, but I think he's that manipulative.
I think the word you're looking for is nefarious.
I don't like it. I don't like the fact that they don't practice. They are seemingly saying the only thing to do here is to get Paul George or Lou Williams or some player that can fix the problem. We can't fix the problem in this locker room. I don't like that.
Jason, I can't believe that you're going along with this theory with Colin. That the Cavs just can't possibly be playing bad. It's got to be that they're doing it on purpose.
I agree with he raped me. It's just funny that when she started her little statement, she spoke to Jason Whitlock like a little boy. Look at his face. Man got his mouth open like like he's looking through a glass window at a hot dog being cooked.
Is this to be a ulterior motive tactic sort of thing from LeBron?
I think, listen, when you watch them, Colin's theory, I think, is you watch them play against Golden State and you saw that level of engagement and effort, and it's not there in the other games.
Yeah, but you could say that about every team. Every team gives Golden State their best effort. It doesn't mean that they're purposefully playing less than they can against other teams. Part of greatness is mental fortitude, mental acuity, mental sharpness for the vast majority of your 82-game season. No team is going to play at 100% maximum effort every game. But part of the touchstone of a team that's a little less than other teams is not just a talent disparity, but also a disparity in mental concentration.
Why is that? And again, this is in January and February when the games don't matter that much. LeBron doesn't care about seeding. LeBron cares about, can we get Paul George here? Can we get Lou Williams here? Can we get someone who can fix this easy rather than...
You know why I don't buy this, though? Is because, actually, no, LeBron cares about stats, and he cares about winning MVP this year.
Agreed.
And tanking doesn't help him do that. He needs to keep his numbers up. He can't...
Agreed.
Can't sacrifice his numbers for the sake of tanking or
tanking seems
trying
so
to
severe.
Lose. But it is. That's what you're saying. But the question was, can LeBron James fix the locker room issues? And I think he can when he leaves.
Damn. This broad hate LeBron. I wonder if LeBron tried to hit on her one time or something like that, or maybe he hasn't tried to hit on her. Maybe that's why she's upset.
The locker room will be much better.
Well, he can also fix it by committing so that the organization...
Yeah,
there's no way
he could, but he's not going to do that. And the thing is, LeBron is an alpha male, which is fine. I think all of us probably are alpha some things.
That's probably your problem. That's why you're 30-plus years old, still unmarried, because you think that you're alpha. That's why that light-skinned black dude left you, because you think that you're alpha.
But people don't necessarily like that all the time in the locker room. And when he's controlling every single aspect of the team and you might get traded the next day because LeBron asks you to, that doesn't really make for a good locker room environment.
Colin, I like your theory. I'm going to see that theory and raise you this.
Oh,
what if LeBron is leaking this stuff, but he's doing it to get the public sentiment on his side because he knows he's leaving. And he's going to say, hey, guys, I tried, but listen, Dan Gilbert wouldn't do this. Isaiah Thomas wanted to practice. This roster is not built. Guys, LeBron is setting the stage for his departure.
He said Isaiah Thomas wanted to practice. Hey, his theory is actually more reasonable. I do believe that LeBron is capable of rolling out excessive or unnecessary information to try to act or create a buffer for himself once he fails at the culmination of this season. That makes a little bit more sense than Cowherd's theory.
You can see it's all in the media this week. Well, the Cavs, they're not going to beat the Warriors. We don't know if they're getting out of the East. What if LeBron is getting the public on his side with this through the media? Is that possible? I believe you like that, Christine.
I buy it, yeah.
All right.
Well, I mean, the other thing is, there's this sense that everybody hates LeBron. LeBron's got a lot of friends in this league, and there are a lot of the smart players. Dwayne Wade's one of the smartest guys in the generationally last 20 years. I mean, smart, winning, recruiting.
Well, he's smart, but he wasn't smart enough to know not to marry that 45-year-old hoe Gabrielle Union. So he's not that damn smart. He wasn't smart enough to stay in Miami, a tax-free state. He got all up in his feelings and ran to Chicago and got taxed the hell out of his damn check and left after 1 year after there was an insurrection of young players that didn't want to put up with his silly shit, where he thought he was going to be grandfathered in to Chicago and they were going to treat him like how they treated him down in Miami. Fortunately for him, LeBron saved his ass. Because if LeBron didn't swoop him up, where would Dwayne Wade be right now? He'd be Vince Carter floating around on some bad team at the end of the bench. So he's not that smart. Because we know he would have been too proud to go back to Miami with his tail between his legs.
Ian, that's his best friend. The guys that he doesn't get along with, Derrick Rose, I question. He gets along with Shane Battier. He gets along with D-Wade. This idea that everybody's anti-LeBron.
Hold on, who said that? Where'd you come up with that?
Well, I mean, there is a perfect. LeBron...
Yeah, he's just desperate. Colin's just desperate to prove that LeBron is this player in the NBA that everybody loves. He's talking about Shane Battier and Derrick Rose. I made note of this before. People always talk about how players want to run and play with LeBron. When you look at LeBron's career, How many top-notch free agents have come to sign with a team that LeBron was leading? I mean, let's be for real. He went down to Miami with his friend D. Wade. They got Chris Bosh to join in because Carmelo did not want to come with them. He went back to Cleveland. Kyrie was already there. And then they orchestrated a trade for Kevin Love. Kevin Love, a guy who had never even been to the playoffs. And I guarantee you that if you ask Kevin Love what he thinks about LeBron off the record, he's going to have some things to say. Some of them good, probably most of them not so good.
Kyrie, Kevin Love, now Tristan Thompson's maybe going to be
Again, Tristan Thompson's an irrelevant NBA player.
I agree with that. He's part of the Kardashian coven. He's irrelevant.
Kevin Love was in Minnesota forever, couldn't get to the playoffs.
Point taken.
The point is, how do we know LeBron doesn't have an alliance in that locker room? He's like, fellas, let's start leaking stuff. So our owner, none of those guys care about Dan Gilbert. They do care about each other to some degree.
But then it wouldn't be a locker room issue, right? And it's not a locker room issue because they're all on the same page. I think it's a roster issue.
That's what I...
Well, let me say this. Kyle Hurd is claiming that LeBron may have an alliance of players that have agreed to be confederate with him and trying to put the onus on Dan Gilbert to improve the team. Oh, here's the problem with that. As I've already noted, Tyronn Lue has already come out and stated that there are players on the team that have agendas. I think that most people have come to the conclusion that he's speaking about LeBron. Isaiah Thomas has come out in the media and stated that they do not play for each other. For him to say that, that is also a referendum against LeBron because he is the leader of the team. When your teammates do not want to play for each other, that is a referendum on the leadership. So if he has an alliance going on, it must be a very, very small alliance. Alliance must be code word for D. Wade.
Old, right?
And they know it.
Bad contracts. Isaiah wants to practice. Dude, Dwayne Wade can't practice. Okay? He needs a day off.
I'm going to go big picture here. And this is what, I like LeBron mostly. But again, every solution to every problem isn't always to leave and go someplace else. That's my whole problem with society now. You have one little problem. Well, let's get divorced. And, let's blow this family up. No one sticks through and works through issues anymore. I don't like that about it.
Well, I agree with Locke. I agree with that sentiment. And you should remember that when you start your diet. Stick to your diet.
That about LeBron.
All right, to Boston, where Paul Pierce revealed that he put the kibosh on the Celtics plan to play a video tribute to Isaiah Thomas on February 11th. The same night, they're set to honor Paul Pierce. Now, the revelation prompted Isaiah Thomas to say he wanted the team to focus on honoring Paul Pierce alone. And one of Pierce's old teammates, Rajon Rondo, was unhappy they were planning to honor Thomas at all, saying, quote, "What's he done? This is the Celtics." I love this. This isn't the Phoenix Suns. No disrespect to any other organization, sort of. But you don't hang conference titles. Do we hang going to the conference finals? What do we hang here? Whitlock, does Isaiah Thomas deserve a video tribute to the Celtics?
Not at all. And Rajon Rondo's 1,000% correct.
He absolutely is 1,000% correct. And Isaiah Thomas has allowed himself to be put in the position where you have a lot of notable NBA players who are publicly castigating him now, because that's why I did that 2-part video about whether or not Isaiah Thomas has a soul tie to the Boston Celtics. He's quite honestly made an ass of himself, so publicly pledging allegiance to a team that did not want him. It's like a dude who's been left by a female and he walks by the restaurant that him and her used to go to and sees her in the restaurant with another dude and walks in there and confronts the both of them and says, "What are you doing? Why are you sitting in our favorite restaurant at our table with another man?" It's like, dude, all you're doing is making a complete ass of yourself. You're in the NBA to make money. You did not even really accomplish anything with the Boston Celtics. But Christine Hire-Millet is going to put forth some information that may explain why Isaiah Thomas put himself in such a ridiculous position in regards to this video tribute.
It's a participation. He participated here for 2 years. 2 years, and now we got to put up a tribute video for you. But to even consider this on the same night that Paul Pierce is being honored is just silly and mind blowing to me. No, he did, and I like Isaiah Thomas. And a great little man, but 2 years? Great.
Well, man, that was a shot.
That's not a shot. And that's people just trying to bring a lot of political correct jargon into the sports world. Everyone knows that when you use the term little man, what you're talking about guards. You refer to the guards as little men. Doesn't mean that they're actually little. It just means that they're little men. Now, in the case of Isaiah Thomas, he's even considered little in the real world. But in basketball jargon, you would call Kyrie Irving or Steph Curry a little man, even though they both 6'2", 6'3".
He's a little man.
I would say this, though. In theory, I agree with Rondo. And Rondo's thing is, come on, man, this is the Celtics. It's just like the Yankees hang World Series banners. The Mets, we got into the playoff banners. It is. Now, I agree with that. But because he lost his sister, because how emotionally important he was for the team, his size, the underdog. Remember, Jason, there's 41 home dates. You ever gone to a Denver Nuggets Portland Trail Blazer game on a Tuesday? They honor everybody but a ball boy.
Look, here's the thing with Isaiah Thomas. He was not that emotionally important for the team because the team is doing better without him. And once again, that's why I use the analogy of a dude getting left by a chick and walking by their favorite restaurant, seeing a chick in there. Once someone decides that they don't like you, then you have to decide that you love yourself more than you yearn for their liking you. And Isaiah Thomas clearly has some insecurity issues in regards to the Boston Celtics. It's like, he felt like that team is the first team that really took him seriously. And he's yearning for that rapport again, and he knows that he cannot get that with Cleveland. He will never be the alpha in Cleveland, period. And I stated that when this trade first came down, that there was going to be issues between him and LeBron, because Isaiah Thomas is not even mentally on the level of a Kyrie Irving where Kyrie can get his on the side. Isaiah cannot even do that mentally because he is so insecure.
I mean, you've covered the NBA. There's a lot of Tuesdays at home against the Nuggets. There are nights you could honor a great kid. No?
2 years.
I used to work in the game operations department with the Celtics.
Yeah.
So my department was the people who put together all the videos and the tribute videos. Everybody gets one. So I actually do believe that Isaiah Thomas gets one. He deserves that. However, I'm going to let you in on a secret here that I think it's probably starting to come out. LeBron James is obsessed with the Jumbotron, and different teams are starting to learn this. So we knew that anytime he was called for a foul or something happened, he would look straight up at the Jumbotron to try to watch the replay. So instead of giving him the replay, they would actually put the camera right back on LeBron. So he'd look up and just see himself. He's obsessed with that stuff. And I thought that the timing of Isaiah coming back and then skipping the Celtics game is so strategic because that left this game now, Paul Pierce's night, as the only night they could do a tribute video. And I don't think it's crazy to believe that LeBron didn't want to have to go to Boston and deal with this being Paul Pierce's night, so he sabotaged the whole thing and made it so Isaiah would have to have the video played on Paul Pierce's night, and that all of this drama would now surround Pierce.
Now, that's a very, very interesting quote-unquote conspiracy theory, but it is based in information and empirical data. That's why I wanted to make this video. It also explains why, to a degree, why this female, Christine He Raped Me Leahy, seems to have a vendetta against LeBron James. She was associated with the Boston Celtics in the late 2000s, a time during which there was a very, very fervent and feverish rivalry between the Boston Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And of course, Paul Pierce was known to go back and forth with LeBron James. They had a very, very famous duel in the 2008 playoffs in Game 7, in which LeBron slightly outscored Paul. I believe LeBron had something like 45 points and Paul had like 41 points, but the Celtics won the game. So, a lot of times when these people make these statements about LeBron, you have to check to see what their background is. Also, as I stated, this female, Christine He Raped Me Leahy, even though she's clearly mentally disturbed and off balance, being a very fervent and extreme feminist, she does know certain things. She made a statement on the Colin Cowherd show where she alleged that LeBron James pistol whipped someone in the locker room. Allegedly. All right? This is what she stated. She stated that LeBron James pistol whipped someone in the locker room, and that was the source of a lot of issues. Now, who knows who it was that he allegedly pistol whipped? This is according to her. All right? Before LeBron James' super fans run on the comments, oh, how could you say that? And all this. Look, none personal. This is a pro-truth channel. I don't have time for silly shit, okay? But this female knows a lot of things about what goes on across the NBA. She also has knowledge of the fact that LeBron James deals with a lot of concubines. I personally don't have a problem with it, but, of course, that's one of the reasons that she uses to justify her dislike of him. So, it is what it is.
See, we both have a conspiracy theory. I like hers.
No, it's not. LeBron loves LeBron, and he's like, I know what the Celtics do to me. I'm not going to give him that. Isaiah, don't...
Well, there's nothing wrong with LeBron loving LeBron, but when it comes to the form, when it gets to the level of self-adoration, which seems to be, I'm going to infer that that's what she's trying to imply, then that can become a bad thing.
So now
I buy into that.
What about this? A third level of the conspiracy theory. What if the Boston Celtics just felt bad for the way it ended with Isaiah Thomas? We traded this guy after everything. He poured blood, sweat, and tears. His sister's passing, and maybe they just felt bad with the way it ended. It was a bit of a negative move in Boston, right? The fans loved him. And what if they're just, we got to give him a tribute.
I have no doubt that that's part of it. That's part of the reason why. And that's also why, as Christine He is trying to allege, that is the crux. That is the crux that is in control of why LeBron James knew that he'd be able to manipulate the situation by having Isaiah Thomas not do the tribute on the original night and push it over to the Paul Pierce night, because he knew that it would create a catch-22 for Danny Ainge. This is if you go along with the thought process that LeBron James is behind this whole issue between Isaiah Thomas and Paul Pierce.
They did, but listen, Brian Scalabrine.
Yeah, pretty much. You're right. He does not deserve one. This is a franchise with 17 banners or something obscene like that. This is the greatest franchise.
The fans loved Isaiah, and I really do believe he deserves a video. They gave one to Brian Scalabrine and Ray Allen, and Ray Allen, granted, brought them a championship. Yeah, and Tibbs.
What were the highlights of Scalabrine?
But he was the biggest traitor.
Seriously.
Towel waving on the bench,
ML Carr, the ML Carr Player of the Year.
Listen, I just think...
And you know what? Isaiah, since he's coming out now and saying, hey, we don't practice, maybe he's upset with LeBron too, saying, man, you put me in all this mix. I have to come out and make a statement that I don't want the video.
Look, there is...
That's very, very interesting. There's no doubt in my mind that Isaiah Thomas does not like his new surroundings. He does not like his new role. And as she stated, why would he put forth information that the Cleveland Cavaliers don't practice? That's like giving your opponents or your enemies trade secrets in regards to what's going on with your franchise. It's very clear that Isaiah Thomas does not like the culture. And maybe she's right. Maybe he is upset with LeBron because LeBron is the one who told him to not accept the tribute on that night, to push it to the Paul Pierce night. Who knows?
There is something, Isaiah has some insecurity issues to me. To be...
Agreed.
This heartbroken about getting traded from the Celtics and to still be carrying on about this. It just sounds, and again, that chip on his shoulder from being undersized is why he was a great player. But it's also why he's still whining and crying, and why the Celtics, we feel sorry for Isaiah.
Well, they do. I mean, on some level, the Celtics trading him away pulled maybe $15 million a year out of his pocket. Nobody's giving him any money this summer. He's just...
Absolutely. There's no way that he's going to get a max deal. Not at 5'9" with a bad hip.
He's just not going to get the deal that he should have got from Boston.
Let me give you a psychology in divorce. The person who ends the marriage, they've done studies on this, feels guilty, even if they had an affair. The person they should, and they do. The Celtics dumped him. At some level, I agree with Jason. There is a sense of he was a good kid. He lost a sister.
Hold on. Tell me this then.
Well, yeah, he quote-unquote lost his sister. And there have been brothers in my comments that have alleged that he sacrificed her. Who knows? One of the ways that they do choose to sacrifice many of those quote-unquote victims is via automobile accidents, because they're hard to trace. So, and please understand that there are a lot of Luciferians involved in upper management within these sports franchises. They help to bring along many of their athletic assets.
You're making great points. You're making me look silly. But why is it Paul Pierce night the only night they do this?
Well, because Isaiah only plays there on two specific days.
Yes.
And LeBron made him not play on the last game. So this is the only game.
Why not move Paul Pierce?
She keeps saying LeBron made him not play. That tells me that she must know something. I don't believe that she's just saying that off the top of her head. This female has shown that she has connections in the basketball world, and that she does have informants. So I believe that she's saying these things from an informed perspective.
Pierce night to a
Why
night when
would
the
you move
Cavaliers
Paul
are.
Pierce
People
night?
bought tickets specifically.
This has been planned
Paul
forever.
Pierce is a top 5 Celtic.
Since the beginning of the season, this night's been planned. They're not going to move it
Paul
right
Pierce
now.
night had to be on the night that LeBron James.
Ego.
Well,
This
they're
happened.
Look at the
trolling him
egos
too.
of this
They're
like-
trolling LeBron too.
This is a very good story. We should just rename this Speak for Yourself on Conspiracies.
Conspiracy
It's been
theory.
very good.
Conspiracy.
Coming up.
Well, I would not necessarily call them conspiracies. I would just say that these are theories that you guys are putting forth to try to shed some light in regard to the why of things. Everything is not always a conspiracy. The term conspiracy has become a word that two-dimensional thinkers, low-level thinkers used to try to attack people who are thinking at a higher level. Now, how do we determine if something is truly a conspiracy or not? If there's no empirical data to back it, if there's no precedent. All right? But anyway, we'll see what happens with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Peace.